It's on tonight. Origin number 3, Matt Elliott joins us, former Warriors, Raiders, Panthers coach. He's now a broadcaster, contributor to many, many podcasts and programs. Welcome back to the show, mate.
Yeah, absolute pleasure to be with you, Martin.
We got Origin 3 tonight. I want to talk about the Warriors as well. But tell me why Origin 3 is still important, even though Queensland have won this series.
Yeah, look, I'm a Queenslander, but I still think I really want to see them win tonight. And every Origin game's like a grand final, to be honest with you. You got, with the exception of obviously the New Zealand players and some of the players from overseas, you got 34 of the best players in the world on the field all at once, and they're an exciting adventure for anyone to watch. And also, it's not just winning the series; it's also the accumulative score that is always very, very close. So it'll be an unbelievable game tonight.
Looking at the first two games and where it sits tonight, and with all the changes that New South Wales have made, I mean, just putting your coaching hat on for a second here, because this team selected for Origin 3 is not who those selectors thought would win this Origin series for them. Otherwise, they would have started at Origin 1. So what's gone wrong? What's gone so bad?
Yeah, I think that everyone gets that wrong. Everyone sort of over-dramatises. As I said, you've got two amazing teams, and we can sit there and tell each other why, and we pretend to be experts, and I put myself into that category now, mate. But when you've got that many good players on the field, it comes down to moments, key moments in games where people step up. And New South Wales haven't been quite able to do that on a consistent basis, but they've been rocked by injuries during the game as well, and that's really affected their continuity. So I think that anyone raving on about that doesn't really understand elite football. And so definitely Queensland have had more poise in the big moments. And when you got Cameron Munster and Daly Cherry Evans steering your team around, that's a great thing to have. But if I'm looking at the New South Wales team now, I'm more at threat as a Queenslander than I was in game one. I just feel like the inclusion of Cody Walker makes a big difference to the players around him. Definitely, I'd question Bradman Best's selection, but he's also going to be an Origin player at some stage, so he may as well start now.
Just looking at that halves combination, how crucial is it for you to get that right or to settle on one and stay with it? Obviously, with Nathan injured, has changed everything for Brad Fittler. But it just seems every year that New South Wales just can't seem to quite work the 6 and 7 out.
Yeah, I guess they've had Luai and Cleary for a while now. But look, the big thing is everyone looks at how Cameron Munster plays or Daly Cherry Evans plays. That's great. Okay, I get that they've got to have their performance analysed like everyone else's, but it's their impact on the other players in the field that is the true measure of their performance, because that's why we call it the spine. It's what directs your team around. And New South Wales, like I thought strategically in their last game, that they were so predictable. Having Luai on one side and Moses on the other, I was sitting there up in the commentary box, and I knew where the next player was going every time, and you can't do that at the elite level. If I'm sitting there and I'm able to predict it in the commentary box, guess what? Those amazing players on the field know where the ball's going as well. So that's what Munster and Cherry Evans can do. They've got some real deception. They don't sit on one side of the field. They move and they respond to what they see in front of them rather than playing to a structured play.
Matt, do you buy into this thing that Queensland gets it and New South Wales just don't get it? I mean, I'm going to go through a whole list of cliches that get thrown up at times like this when it's 2-0. There's the first one for you. Okay,
I've got my own theory on this, and don't worry, I've been shot down.
Please do.
I've been shot down.
No, go on.
Okay, you've got a mate that you really care for. He's been your best mate, and he's in a bit of strife. And you get to that point where you go, I've done all I can do for him. I can't do any more. I've done all I can do. That's New South Wales. Queensland, you got a family member in the same situation. You never say, I've done all I can do. You're always looking, I've got to find it. If it's, a sibling or your brother or your sister, you're going to keep trying to find a way to do it. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and I think that's my cliche way of explaining it is that the way that I see it, Queensland never looked like they've done all they can do. Sometimes New South Wales, they're like that person with their best mate.
Let's go back to game one, and I think with 12 minutes to go, New South Wales are up on the scoreboard. They're down to 12 men, Queensland, and then they score a couple of late tries. How important, how pivotal was that? You talk about moments. That, to me, broke the spirit of that New South Wales side in game one. Am I reading too much into that part of that game?
You're definitely not reading into it as being a key moment in the series. So, like, being down and having a front rower, Lindsay Collins, run through and climb over the top of James Tedesco to set a try up with a flick pass, and then, to see a guy, Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow go down that left-hand side like he did. Again, a man down. But again, Cameron Munster, who hadn't had a great game, had not had a great game at all. And then at that point went, I've got to do something for my family here. Puts the hammer away, and then he backs up. Who backs up a front rower?
Right.
You're not going to expect him to, you know what I mean? Just those key moments had a huge impact on that game, and I think that then New South Wales going to Brisbane after experiencing that in Adelaide, I'm not going to say they were rattled, but they were certainly slightly distracted by that. And then, lose Tommy Trbojevic early in that game certainly had a big impact on the whole structure of the way they played.
Is where the series sits right at the moment, is that what you thought beforehand? Did you think Queensland would have this wrapped up by game 3?
No, I thought it'd be 1-1 because, I guess the best predictor of future behaviour is past behaviour, and there's been not too many series that have been locked up, by game 3. So, really, if you look back at Adelaide, the best team on that night was New South Wales. I came out and said it, all the key stats that you want to measure performance by. They dominated ruck speed. They had more line breaks. But they just weren't able to ice that game, and that would be something that definitely knocked them around a little bit. And as I said, in game 2, losing Tommy, Latrell had done all their training and pulled out in that week, so they lost 2 key players going into that game. And I can kind of remember being a young man, but we do get distracted, and that they look like a distracted team to me in game 2.
Matt Elliott is with us, former Raiders, Panthers, Warriors coach. Of course, we'll talk about the Warriors in just a second. Put your coach's hat on for a second here. What does Billy Slater bring? Because I can't stand these people, and they used to say this about Mal Meninga too, Matt. Oh, no, he's not a coach. He doesn't coach. I mean, I don't know how you define a coach, but to me, that guy has that team eating out the palm of his hand. They love him. They are listening, obviously, to what he says. He's got a huge influence. What do you see that he brings?
Well, first of all, his personality, okay? And he's not like coaching a team through a whole pre-season. So he's getting elite players and he's making the choices, but he's definitely a coach. So people that are saying that, they don't understand coaching. He builds relationships with players really quickly because, one, they respect him, but he's a great human, first of all. Then what he's also done is he's dragged into his coaching techniques what he did as a player. He is like attention to detail. Billy Slater, that's why he changed the way fullbacks play. Billy Slater is the reason fullbacks play the way they play right now. He is the person that changed everything. They weren't someone to just, trudge the ball back. They became a part of the spine because of Billy Slater. Billy Slater brings that into the environment. He understands how to motivate players for big games. Reason being, he's played in a lot of big games. And the last thing about Billy Slater is he listens. So he listens to his other coaching staff. He listens to his players. What other formula do you want to be a great coach?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Jonathan Thurston on the sideline has been told by the NRL to curb his celebrations because they say that he gets a little exuberant. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but isn't that what Origin's actually about? How dare you tell this guy who's such a legend of a guy and obviously loves it so much to curb anything? He's just having fun, isn't he? Isn't that what we're meant to do?
My response to that is yes, 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 and yes.
Go on.
And yes.
Yeah.
It just, come on. And we're also in the entertainment industry. Come on, Jonathan Thurston losing his stuff on the sideline. That's just a joy to watch.
Isn't it?
It's pure passion. Why would you say that?
I don't know.
I'm
I'm
with you 100%.
Yeah, look,
just zip it, leave it alone.
To me, it's as much fun as much as I'm a cockroach from way back. There's much fun as the sourpuss on Andrew Johnson's face, who is just so representative of all of us Blues fans. I love the fact he gets sulky and sour because that's what he's meant to feel like when you lose.
There you go. Just enjoy it. Slap it up. I would be doing the opposite. I'd be saying to New South Wales, if I was at the NRL, you need to get Joey Johns down on the sideline and get him blowing up on the sideline and carry it on. You know what I mean? People love that.
They do.
Seeing JT jump up and down, I just think that's I don't need... Why did I have to do it? No one was complaining about it.
No, I know. I don't know, because some fish head somewhere, mate, wants to do something because otherwise they're getting paid to do nothing. Finally, let's talk about the Warriors briefly before we finish. And I know that you've got a big affection for this team. I mean, you remembered very fondly here, mate. It just seems to go from strength to strength. We've talked a lot about Andrew Webster all year. That win against Parramatta, absolutely vital. 10-7 now. I mean, Warriors fans have got every reason to feel happy and good about the season. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And, they've done a really good job of building mentality. Even with my association, the Warriors, and I'll stick my hand up, is that was probably the biggest challenge of building a mentality. Ruthless is not the word, and I thought it was the word. It's not the word for the Warriors. The Warriors have come up with a way of playing that they believe totally in their execution, the way that they're playing their footy, and everyone's bought into it. And, Tohu Harris's impact on that team. I know Sean's doing an amazing job. I'm so happy to see Sean Johnson getting the attention that he deserves to get instead of for the opposite reason. I'm so happy to see that. But Tohu Harris, he's, for me, just watching from afar, his impact on the team and some of the cultural, inclusion that they've brought around the way that they prepare, it's just been a joy to watch.
How far can they go, mate? I mean, again, you've got your coach's hat on and you're watching it through your own eyes. How far can they go from here this season?
Well, I'll say this. If I'm playing in the semi-finals and I don't want to be coaching against it. I don't want to be coaching against them. They're a team that is dangerous with, capital D's everywhere because they've got so much strike across the field, and then the poise they've got in their halves at the moment. Obviously, they've got a few players they need to get back into the team, but if they've got their strongest team out, I don't want to be playing against them. So that's probably my subliminal way of saying that they're a dangerous team. They can get they'll win semi-finals this year, I believe.
Devlin.
Oh my goodness me!
The platform.